Well, everybody, I would like to thank you so much for being on this with us tonight with Caitlin Conley and myself, Nicole Ramirez, of the last webinar of the series of Keeping the Momentum High. So we just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us tonight. We really do appreciate you holding in for the long run and seeing what we can do this last stretch of the Diamond Dash. So again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us tonight. What we're going to be going over mainly is obviously keeping that momentum going and keeping that momentum high of revisiting our goals and going over professional development. So we're going to go ahead and dig deep and start right away. And first I'm going to be talking about our goals. So something that, towards the end of everything, you're going to be revisiting, resetting, re-energizing, and also do not forget to reward yourself for your goals. When it comes to revisiting, the entire time of this stretch, you have gone through so many things the last weeks of the Diamond Dash to where now is the time to revisit those goals, ones that you are still working on, ones that you have made thus far in the journey, and also just a reset of something of if there was a goal that needs just a little bit of editing, this is the time to do that right now. And also re-energize, kick it into high gear again. There's still this last few more days of this journey to go, and you still have that time to make that ending goal. But also, too, don't forget to reward yourself. Don't forget to congratulate and celebrate those small sprouts that you have planted throughout the last few weeks of making your goals throughout this journey. And celebrate those, big or small. And you're always wanting to do goals, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, especially when it comes to quarterly with those bonuses and those rankings and things like that of, certain times of the year when those happen quarterly. Be up to date on those of when they come around. And also yearly, think big. Think 3 years from now, think 5 years from now, where you really want to be. And it's not so much in your business, but in your fitness, where you want to be physically, where you want to be in your fitness, where you want to be financially. I know some of you guys, along with myself, are trying to get out of debt, annihilating that debt, making those small goals to those big goals of what you want to do, and not only doing it for you, but helping your team do it for themselves. And one thing for me, I know that I'm a very, very visual person, is making your goals visible. I know some of you have goal boards. I know that I have sticky notes everywhere of goals that I want to do. And just like this, the top title of this slide is, making it visible. And that's one thing that's going to help you with that accountability and sharing them. It's one thing to keep your goals to yourself. It's another thing to branch out and tell people what your goals are. And when you share it, it kind of gives you that sense of ownership and responsibility and that motivation to go after that goal because you know that there's people out there that are supporting you to get to it. And also, too, think of the big, hairy, scary goals that scare the living crap out of you. If they don't make your stomach turn, they're not big enough. If they don't scare you and just kind of bring goosebumps and almost like an anxiety level of that roller coaster feeling, then they're not big enough. You have to think big, and that's what this is all about, is thinking big for yourself. Maybe it's for your family. Maybe it's for other people. You never know, of helping those people. So making sure to do that. And when it comes to making them visible, I also put them on the background of my phone. I put them on the background of my laptop. It just creates that accountability in that environment that helps support you. Don't forget the rewards of a job well done. I know that you have to celebrate those little things and you have to celebrate those big things. It's all about your sprouts. Do not crush your sprouts. And some great ways to reward yourself and celebrate those victories that have been hard-earned, both big and small. There's so many ways to reward yourself. So some things that you can think of just right off the bat is taking a couple days off to just unplug and relax. You know, you've met your goal. You have, you know, gone above and beyond of everything that you could do to reach that goal. So now embrace it and receive that blessing of reaching that goal and take those couple days off. But remind you, it's just a couple days off. It's not more than a couple days, because you don't want to create that complacency and that that space of safety, of comfortability. You don't want to, you know, revert back to anything like that. I know me, girls, I love my shoes. You know, boys, I bet you love your shoes too. A brand new pair of shoes is definitely the icing on the cake to a goal. That is for sure. And what's great too is a trip, whether it's something of, you know, something extravagant for a cruise, or it's something of just going away for the weekend, or a camping trip, or anything like that. You're always needing to reward yourself, and a trip is definitely a good way, you know, to take those couple of days off and to unplug and relax. And also too, you know, man, when it comes to your fitness goals, maybe you hit something of a fitness goal. You need to reward yourself. Don't deprive yourself. Go have that cupcake. You know, go have that favorite dessert at your favorite restaurant. You know, for a job well done, you deserve something like that, to just breathe a little bit of, you know, the go, 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 go mode, and now it's time to receive that blessing of reaching that goal. And not only that, too, recognition. It's great. Reward yourself, but also rewarding your team for reaching their goals. Make sure you recognize them. Make sure you're continuing to challenge them, and give them props when it's due. Everybody loves to see their name pop up of congratulations to, help me congratulate, things like that. You know, always recognizing and challenging your team, because that's what we're here to do, is to continue encouraging each other and, you know, doing those shout outs of a job well done also. One major thing too is now is the time to rethink and cast a new vision for yourself and for your team. There's things that you're going to want to do that are immediate. You know, think of those immediate objectives. What's something that you want to do as soon as it's done, you've reached your goal, what's that next step? But then also you're wanting to think long term. What's going to benefit you, or what's something you want to reach in the long-term vision of those things. But at the same time, you're not going to create those goals right here, and these are the goals that you're going to have in the long term. You're going to constantly create greater and greater goals. You're going to meet goals at the deadlines that you're wanting to. Some of them you're going to meet them before the deadline. Some of them it may take a little bit longer, but you're always wanting to constantly create those greater goals. But don't forget to keep them in line with your overall vision. And something that we'll talk about a little bit later is reverse engineering, of taking the huge goal and your big overall vision of what you want to do, and then taking those steps backwards of piecing all that together, what it's going to take to build up to that ultimate new vision. So think big. That's what it's all about. And one thing that is going to help you with that is by plugging into not only audio, not only going to events, things like that, but it's all of that encompasses of professional development. And that is where Caitlin Conley comes into the situation of casting a new vision with the help of professional development. So, Caitlin, if you are with me, you can go ahead and start talking about your professional development.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. Nicole, you mind getting me to my next slide?
Whoa, whoa.
Thank you.
Oh, oh, whoa.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You're showing the goods before we're ready.
Hey, geez, my goodness.
All righty. So as Nicole mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and plug into personal development. This is something that I'm passionate about just because I've seen what it can do and how well it can work when you do plug it in. So starting off, obviously visually and by hearing it, go ahead and make sure you're plugging in with somebody. Of course, you know, being within our team, there's a variety of individuals that you can plug into. As you see listed, Shalene, Darren, Eric, and Danny Johnson. Personally, I love Shalene and Darren. I get daily text messages from Darren that are just a quick little plug-in. I listen to those while I'm getting ready in the morning. I love to read the books. I'm currently reading Darren's book, and also suggest Eric Worre's GoPro to all of my coaches. But obviously, find out what works for you. So listen to an audiobook on your commute. Go ahead and take, you know, part of your lunch break to read. I love, sometimes I'll step out back at my corporate office and, you know, read a good 10, 15 minutes. But along with that is find out who works for you. As I just listed all of those, there's so many, and to be honest with you, not all of them really connect. I don't connect with all of them, is the easiest way to say that. So find out who works for you. Definitely plug in with all of those. Get a taste of each of them and find out who you best connect with. And then also connect with them via social media. Go ahead and follow them on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. I know Shalene has an Instagram. It's definitely a plus. And an extra little oomph of positivity into your day to see their posts in your news feed. It, you know, makes things more uplifting, and life does get crazy. Go ahead and expect it and work with it, but still make every single day yours. So their little bit of motivation that they give to you, you know, that's super easy to share and give them credit. To go ahead and keep your mind in that positive mindset along with your coaches as you start building your teams. Then diving into what Beachbody does for us. They definitely make it very easy for us to plug in. But definitely those three things, Super Saturday, Summit, and the Surge, you have to make those happen. Pretty much end of story. They make training available to us all the time. The weekly Monday morning wake-up call, quarterly Super Saturdays, and then yearly Summit. If you're not on the wait list, get on it. I can't talk enough about how Beachbody's events have pushed my business to where it's at. I have to credit, obviously, my team and my coaches, but Summit, secondly, for how it has just pushed my business each time I have visited. It's amazing. If you go as a sponge, it's just crazy all that you can absorb. And, you know, it's kind of like an extra dose of caffeine for us coaches going to Summit for what it can do for you as an individual and for your business. But definitely take time to enhance your brain. As I said, I definitely notice a difference when I make time to plug in and do my personal development. My well-being is more positive, more uplifting, and then that just seeps into my business. And of course, you can't go wrong there. Moving on. With your surroundings. Each of us, I know, were given a, next slide please, thanks. Each of us were given a success partner, and I know not everyone was paired 100%. And we are sorry, we tried our, I know that those ladies tried their absolute best to pair those with someone that would work well, but at the same time, not everyone is at the same point in our business, and not everyone's plugged in the same percentage you are. So if it did not, the one that you had for this group, if that did not work out 100%, please, please, please find one. Reach out to one of the leaders in this group, or reach out to your upline coach. It is definitely something that is beneficial in our line of business because we do so much of it on social media. It is very helpful that you have someone that's obviously doing the same thing that we can reach out to and we can vent to, we can have little celebrations with, that we can talk to about the business. You want to make sure you chat weekly, adjust your schedule to make it work. I actually do mine with my upline coach. Sometimes we do, majority of the time we do Zoom calls. Both of us teach classes on Tuesday night, so we get on and both of us just look like a sweaty mess, and Caitlin would be totally fine with me telling you guys that. But we literally just hash it out. We say the good, the bad, and praise each other on whatever, is going awesome that week. Also, with your surroundings, think about your workspace. You definitely want a place in your home or in your room that when you sit down there, you know that it's time for business. I need to take my own advice here and make it neat. A lot of times my desk is the free-for-all with whatever's going on that week. But think about what you have on your wall. Think about, as Nicole mentioned, maybe have your goals as your background screen of your computer or even your phone so that you're seeing it daily. Looking up at my wall in at my desk at home, it's actually tons of pictures of Beachbody events with all of my amazing coaches and coach friends, and then it's also motivational sayings, to keep me going. Also, this would be a good place to display your dream board with your big, scary, crazy goals that Nicole just talked about also. And then going back to social media. This is something else I have a passion for. They can make and break your business, so use them carefully, but also use them often. Consistency is key, as Jim talked about last week on his webinar. But surround yourself with a positive news feed. If you're noticing that someone that you are friends with from the past, or even someone new that doesn't always see, maybe eye to eye to you, and sometimes they vent, it's not a horrible thing to unfollow them. What I do is I actually make a list, and I about bi-weekly check out those people's news feeds and maybe write them a positive note, or write them, make sure I like something or make sure I comment on something. So that way they're having some positive feedback, but at the same time it's not bringing me down. Because sometimes we can get, wrapped up in all of what's going on in the world because, to be honest, we all have good days, bad days, and sometimes on those bad days we just need to see all the motivation out there. So that's something to consider since we can control, what we can see on our social media. And moving on to my last point, now that we've looked at things mentally, how we're developing ourselves to make ourselves better mentally, and stronger in that aspect, and then also looking at the exterior of where we're working and what we're feeling every day, our everyday life with, we need to look at us. We can't forget that aspect, and once again, I do need to take my own advice, because when life does get crazy, sometimes that can falter. So don't forget to plug in to you. You have to make time for you. Time management can be a nuisance, but it's a blessing in disguise. So make time to get your workout in, to do your Shakeology. If you do some sort of other physical activity, don't be afraid to post that also, because a lot of times that extra stuff that we do, that's where we get our niche. I also run, and so a lot of my niche is runners who are also looking for something else to plug into. So, as corny as it sounds, a healthy body equals a healthy mind, and vice versa. So definitely keep that in mind, in regards to making yourself the best you can be, so that you can offer your coaches and customers the best you. So that's all that I have for this, and Nicole is actually going to close us out with some next steps.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. And kind of just to end it all of your goals and professional development and keeping that momentum high is we're actually going to go into your next step. And the next step is for you to join us for Chalene Johnson's 30-day challenge. You may or may not have done this before. If you have, you will remember of how much fun it actually was to master organization and achieve your goals. I know that this was something that I really tapped into when I was a first coach at the beginning. This definitely gave me a big outlook of my vision and the purpose of doing this business. So we would like to welcome you to your next step of joining us for Chalene Johnson's 30-day challenge. It's going to come after the holiday of the Labor Day, and it's going to start on Tuesday, September 2nd. And what we're going to do is we're going to have more details posted in our Diamond Dash page, so then you're not having to scurry right now to figure out how to register, because it does start right away. So make sure that when we do it, that you don't go ahead a little bit too early and then you start ahead of the rest of us, and so that way you can do it with all of us together. And so that's something that we're really wanting to implement to not just you as Diamond Dash participants, but to open it up to our entire team as well. So this is something that you can invite those of you that are part of your team that are not part of Diamond Dash. This is open for completely everybody to join us in just continuing to master our organization and continuing to reach our goals. And if you're wanting to take it another step further, I know that some of you are at First Steps to Success right now in Long Beach, and you may be done yet. I'm not sure. If you are, that's great. Thank you for taking the time to watch this with us. But this is for you if you are really, really serious about taking your business to the next level. If you have been to a First Steps to Success or creating a dynasty, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, as if you are serious about taking your business to the next level, your next step after this is going to be joining us at the next First Steps to Success in Cincinnati, Ohio, October 18th through the 20th. And you can contact Lindsay Krause or myself. I just got hired on actually as part of the DannyJohnson.com staff as of Thursday, and I start my first day tomorrow. So I can be your go-to person of getting you set up, and that channel will be through Lindsay. And I know that Caitlin can agree with me that attending a live event, whether it's Danny Johnson, whether it's Chalene Johnson's event, or, you know, like she had mentioned before, Summit, being there in person takes it to a whole nother level compared to reading in a book or listening to an audio or watching a webinar such as this. Nothing compares to going to a live event. So I want to thank you so much. Myself and Caitlin want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule tonight to be on this with us, and we wish you the best of luck of keeping that momentum high and really, really striving to reach your goals this last stretch of the Diamond Dash to get yourself on some money. It is time to hand out some money, and you need to be part of that money. You need to be on the receiving end of that so you can do what you want with it and really hit those goals and reward yourself for that. So if there's anything else that Caitlin would like to say, now is the time. And if you have any questions for us, now is the time to do that as well. Was there anything else that you needed to say, Caitlin?
I am good.
Okay. Let's see. I think that's about it. It doesn't look like anybody was raising their hand for a question, so we will just end it on that. And I think that we are good to go. So thank you so much again for joining Caitlin and I, and we appreciate you being here with us tonight, and good luck on the rest of your week.